361, also known more commonly as the Gran Partita by the iconic Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Now, to give you a very quick rundown of the Gran Partita, this masterwork is believed to have been completed between 1781 and 82 and showcases Mozart's reimagined conventions for harmony music, delivering 7 substantial movements. While musicologists have gathered that the exact dating of this work is uncertain, it's believed to have been written after Dominio, which itself was a real high point for the way Mozart was actually composing this type of ensemble. In the Gran Partita, he gave us an expanded version of the woodwind section with the addition of 4 horns and the addition of 2 backup horns. Having played this work twice on basso horn, first and second part, I can definitely say that the combination of basso horns with the horn quartet, it's a tremendously rich, dense color palette that is just very easy on the ears. For anyone that's never had the chance to play basso horn, it's more or less a more capable alto clarinet. Now, getting into the music, this Etude is scored in B flat minor, 2/4 time, with a tempo suggestion of allegro moderato. Based on this indication, I'd suggest a performance tempo of maybe around quarter equals 100 or so, faster if you like. I'd suggest really taking it slow, understanding exactly how you're going to approach this. This is really dense writing, but it's written like this for a purpose. I think he basically just said, okay, how can I take this beautifully written music from this masterwork and make it 10 times harder for this clarinetist? I know I'll score in a key that is rarely used and hope for the best. But I'm joking. In all seriousness, I think this is actually a really good study in working on those pinkies and polishing our hand technique. As I mentioned in previous master classes, I believe that the more dense the key center, the more precise we have to be with executing our technique. Warming up, I'd suggest focusing on D flat major, E flat minor exercises, as well as left hand studies, such as page 18 from the Laginus book 3 method book. Use a mirror, really hone in on keeping those fingers close to the keys and free of unnecessary tension. So overall, I think the main objective for this Etude is really just creating smooth technique between tricky half-step intervals and transitions. Throughout, we will need to be able to gain fluency in being able to alternate our pinkies between left and right in a variety of patterns, sometimes on every beat. Next, we'll need to develop a good ability to flip between G flat and F, respectively, a necessity that is most commonly seen when dealing with key centers that look like this, that are really dense. So starting off, take some time to score steady and locate all the sections and moments that might be most challenging to you. Next, I would suggest creating a warm-up routine for this Etude that focuses on any challenging transitions or intervals that we're going to be playing throughout this in context. As I mentioned before, I believe that by practicing these moments outside of the Etude, you're able to play these concepts with much greater ease and less errors when you actually have to play them in a performance or practice them. For fingering options throughout this Etude, there are typically at least one good option for most passages. Throughout, keep in mind that we're going to be using all of our options throughout interchangeably. For example, measure 1, we can move from either right to left or left to right, but it may be easier for you to choose from one over the other, except for the instances where we have to go from a E flat 5 to another note, such as the end of measure 2 into measure 3. In this case, we typically only have one option due to the fact that many clarinets do not actually have an E flat, A flat auxiliary key. In measure 4, we have our first instance where we'll need to flip between a written F5 and G flat 5, since we have to play a long E flat 5 just after that. Now in measure 17, we will have to use this technique again, many more times in a row. So keep in mind that when learning this Etude, utilizing chromatic fork fingerings may not always be the best option to execute the phrase. Similarly, it may be more effective to flip between the F4 and G flat 4s throughout, such as measures 32 through 36. Now in measures 6 to 7 and measures 73 to 74, these moments require us to either slide our finger down from the E flat, A flat key to the C, F key, or use an auxiliary E flat, A flat key to alternate if we have it on our clarinet. For info on sliding, you can check out my first video in the series, the box study, if you'd like. Now closing out this Etude 9 measures before the end, it might be helpful to remove the second 16th note on beat 1 so that there's a chance for you to take one last big breath if you're not able to circularly breathe yet. Otherwise, the only reliable option will be the breath at the end of measure 75. Depending on your tempo, this may be more challenging at pace depending on how fast you're going. So if you need to, you can always take out a 16th note in this Etude if you need to take a breath. I think the point of this Etude is more to really get the notes right in the horn, keep it sounding even, easy, beautiful. If you have to take out a note to breathe, it's nothing in the world. And with that, we've reached the end of Etude number 11 in Victor Polatschek's Advanced Studies for the Clarinet. Having reached the end of this masterclass, I hope you've gained a little bit of knowledge that prepares you for a very lovely performance in the future. In case you have any additional questions on this Etude, as always, please feel free to comment below or send me an email. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time for Etude number 12. Happy practicing, stay safe, and see you again soon.